The Adventure of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain Longman Simplified English Series read by ทัทาปราศสูงสุข Chapter 12 Was Tom overheard? A few minutes later Tom was in the shallow water of the sandbar, stepping towards the Illinois bank before the water reached his wheel. He was halfway over. Then he began confidently to swim the remaining 100 yards. He reached the bank, pushed himself out, and set out in the steaming garment to the woods. A little before 10 o'clock, he came out into an open space opposite the wetland, and saw the ferry boat lying by the high bank. He came down, slipped into the water, swam a few yards, and climbed into the rowing boat fitted to the ferry boat. He lay down and waited. Soon the boat length, a voice gave the order. The cast off, and the cruise began. Tom was pleased at his success, for he knew that it was the boat's last stop. Tom slipped overboard and swam ashore, landing 50 yards downstream. Where there was less danger or begin scenes. He flew along desert land and soon found himself at his own back fin. He came over and approached the window of unpoly rooms, for a light was burning there. That is unpoly, said Mary and Joe Harper's mother, grouped together talking. They were by the bed, and the bed was between them and the door. Very slowly, Tom, please open the door. Tamping very time it take. When he thought that he might have thought to hand and keen, he put his hand through and began. Is the channel burning so badly? Says Aunt Polly. Tom hurried up. Why? There's doors open. I believe said. Go and choose it. Tom disappeared under the bed just in time. But as I was saying, said Aunt Polly, he wasn't bad, only mischief. I never meant to do any harm, and he was the best hot boy that ever lived. She began to cry. My Joe was the same. He was full of monkey tricks, but always unselfish and kind. I wished him for taking that claim, forgetting that I threw it out myself because it was so. It is heartbreaking to think that I will never see him again in the woods. Never, never, never. Poor ill-trained boy. Mr. Harper wept bitterly. I hope Tom is happy where he is, said Sis. But if he been better in some ways, Sid. Tom knew that the old lady's eyes flashed, although he could not see them. Don't say a word against my Tom. Now that he's dead. Oh, Mr. Harper, I don't know how to give him up. I don't know how to give him up. God gives. My ankles take away, but it's so hard. Oh, it's so hard. Only last Saturday, my Joe made me jump with one is his noisy track, and it struck him. If he could do it again, I didn't take him my arms and beat him for it. Yes, yes, I know just how you feel. Mr. Harper, only yesterday my Tom feels the cat full of painkiller, and I didn't think that the creature would tear the house down. And God forgive me, I slapped him. Poor boy, poor dead boy. But he's out of his trouble now. And the last words I never had him say were to blame me. This morning was too much for the old lady, and she broke down in tears. Tom was crying now, and more in pity of himself than of anybody else. He could hear Mary crying, and putting in the kiddie words of him from time to time. Still, he wasn't very moved by this own state too long to last out and overcome her with the joy of this return. But he listed the temptations. He went on listening, and glanced that it was thought at first that the boy had been drowned while having a swim. The small lake has missed neck. It was remembered that the Miss Boy had promised that the village would hear something starring sons. The opinion of most people was that the boys had gone off on the life and would appear at the next town downstairs. But next noon the left has been found against the bank, 5 or 6 miles below the village. They must be dogs, otherwise hunger would have revised them home. This was Wednesday night, were not recovered from the liver before Sunday. All hope would be given up, and the fuller service would be held on Sunday morning. Tom shivered. Mr. Harper, with her eyes, said good night and left. Aunt Polly was far more tender than usual in her good night to Sid and Mary, who went off crying. Aunt Polly knelt down and prayed for Tom so earnestly, and with such indefinite love in her voice and her old, trembling voice that Tom's eyes were streaming with tears long before she had finished. He had to keep still long after he had gone to bed, for she was restless and kept on murmuring broken heartedly. But at last she lay still, only murmuring a little in her sleep. Now the boy stood out and stood regarding her. His heart was full of pity for her. He took out the bank note and placed it by the channel, but something occurred to him, and he stood considering. A smile lit up his face, and he put the bag back in his pocket. Then he bent over and kissed the fish leaf, and tiptoed out to the ferry landing and was putting on the boat. He knew that the watermen always sleep right along, and tried the rolling boat, slipped into and was on drawing cautiously across the river. He was tempted to capture it, but he knew that a true search would be made for it, and then they might be discovered. So he tied to it up as soon as he landed and set off to his woods. It was broad daylight before he found himself opposite the excellent sandbar. He lived until the sun was well up and turning in the surface of the glass river into the gorge, and then into the water. A little later the pools leaping on the edge of the camp. No, Tom is drunk, he heard Joe say, and she will come back. He won't desert. No, Tom's drunk, he heard Joe say, and he will come back. He won't desert. He knows that would be harmful for pirates, and Tom too proud for that sort of thing. But I wonder that he is doing. The things are all, aren't they? Nearly, but not quite. Hooked. The writing say that they are if he not back for breakfast. He is, exclaimed Tom, stepping casually into camp. When this breakfast was soon provided, and Tom resumed his adventures, there were a wind and was full company of heroes. When his tale was finished, then Tom hid himself away to sleep till noon, and the other pirates got ready to feast and export.